Alright, hello again everyone, and here is my video for my final project. Now, as you can see, it is, there's a lot more to it now. I moved the photoresistor. Actually, let me go ahead and probably take that out, because that has no purpose now. Okay, so the photoresistor is over there now. The reason why I did that is because the our LEDs right here were affecting the photoresistor, which of course makes sense. They're making light, but that would skew the results that I am looking for, that I want, right? Not only that, but you see, sorry, excuse me. There are 6 LEDs now. Now, what happened is these are all, so each row of twos is one PW pin, because what through testing, what I learned is um, pins 9 and 10 did not work, which is weird. And because they worked when I did the nightlight, the initial nightlight video. So I was wondering, why didn't I do? Why doesn't it work? Well, the biggest difference is because I didn't necessarily change anything. All I did was pair the nightlight program and the distance servo motor, or the I think I ultrasonic servo is what I called it. I think um, I paired those two programs together to make one. So, but they shouldn't affect each other because they shouldn't interact whatsoever. They do two different tasks. So, what I realized is, hold on, as I scroll up here, my servo library was the thing that came to mind, because I was wondering what would exactly change it. I mean, the servo pin, I just made that 11 because I suspected that um, the servo motor would need a dear lord, a PMW pin. So I was saving 11 for it. Well, what I ended up learning is the servo library actually not mess, but it alters what the pins 9, 10 do. They don't actually change 11, which is interesting, because when I was moving things around, PW pin 11 worked. But I'm not sure what the deal was there. But instead, what I did is, as I said earlier, I changed the pins. So now it is 3, 5, and 6 that deal with the LEDs. Now remember, the reason why I'm using the PWM pins for the LEDs is because they will not work with the photoresistor unless they're PWM. Sorry. Uh, so if they aren't in if they're in a pin that isn't a PWM, then what's going to happen is it'll just turn on and off. All it will receive is a 1 or 0 instead of different variables to alter its brightness. So that is why we're using PWMs. Now, another thing that I learned, if you look at the code, for the servo pin for the servo motor changed from 11, because initially I had it as 11, but then I learned that I could put it into pins 7 and 8, which is interesting because those aren't PWM pins. And what I ended up learning is the servo motor does not need a PWM pin. So I thought that was super interesting. Interesting thing, great thing to learn. Um, But as you can see here, as you guys probably keep hearing and seeing through our serial monitor here, this thing is going haywire. It's because I am in front of the the sensor here, and it's not sure. It's getting confused because I am also I'm like my arms in front of it, my legs in front of it, my whole body's in front of it. So it's kind of like reading different things. But in a second, I will give a better observation. Uh, yeah. So here's my code. I guess I'll show you a little bit of it. All the light levels. Here's the trigger pins and stuff for the ultrasonic distance sensor. Here's how it recognizes the distance. Right here is actually still for the distance sensor. Then here is it writing. So how I have it is, if the distance from the distance from the object is greater than 20 centimeters, then what it's going to do is it's going to go to 10 degrees for the servo motor, which I will show here. So actually, here I'll kind of back up a bit. Hopefully, you can kind of make out what it's saying. Right now, it's in the 20s, which is good. So try to move out of the way as much as possible. Right now, it's reading my hand. It is at 10 degrees. You see how it moved in? That is at 0. 10, 0. So 0, as we can see here, is anything over 5 centimeters. So now that is my LSIF. That is the pretty much the for a servo motor, 0 degrees is where it's going to start whenever you're starting with the servo motor. So I just had it stay here whenever it has something that is over 5 but under 20. And then right here, our else statement is if it doesn't, it's not recording anything, there isn't an object there, so it's going to go to the 90 degree middle area, because I was like, oh, I don't think it's reason. There's no reason for it to start at 180 on the exact opposite side. So it'd be like, instead of here, it'll be over here. So I was like, there's no reason to wait all that time when I can have it work a lot quicker. Yeah, so that is what's happening. Oh, and then here is all the things that it is putting in. I was thinking about adding the inverted light, but I didn't think it was really needed for anyone to understand what's happening. But if you must know, light is being inverted right here. No, wait, right here, the second line. It's being inverted, so because what was initially happening with my photoresistor is the more light that hit it, the brighter the LEDs got, instead of the more light that hit the photoresistor, the dimmer they got. Because it's a night light. I want them to get dim with light, but brighter with less light. But yeah, so that's what's happening. It's inverting. Yeah, so right as you can see down here, it is telling us the light level that the photoresistor is receiving, and then the brightness is the brightness of the LEDs. It goes all the way up to 250, and then the distance is, well, the distance from the object. As you can see, it's going haywire. It keeps thinking different things, but I'll fix that in a second. And I'm sure everyone's probably wondering, okay, buddy, hey, calm down. Okay, there you go. I have my hand in front of it, so now it's just recording my hand. There is a piece of blue tape, and that's because originally it was just I keep calling it a blade, servo motor blade, little white thing on it. And the reason why I have it is because I need it to cover the photoresistor better. Because yes, it is farther away from the LEDs, but I kind of bent it a little bit. So it kind of covers a little bit more, but also so it covers light better. As you can see here, they dimmed, right? So if I can find a way to do this. Oh, see, there you go. So it's actually at 10. Let me kind of bring this up so it's easier to see. So there you go. Now it's at 0. It's covering it better. So say I get, actually, let me get farther. Boom. Closer. If it shows it. Come on. There you go. Okay, it's closer now. It's covering it, and if you guys can see, the LEDs are dimmer. You see how it's changing based on the exact angle it's at. And then, of course, say we're out of frame, boom, they get super dim. In frame, boom, they get a little brighter at 10. Let's see, get closer, a lot brighter. So yeah, it's actually changing. So yeah, so the reason why there is a 10 degree, let me turn the slide off now. So there you go, 10 degrees. The reason why I have a 10 degrees instead of just having it go from, oh, there's a person, well, ideally a person there, let's brighten the lights, and then, no, there's not an object, turn it off. I wanted to have it alter based on the distance. So it's covering half of the photoresistor. So it's the LEDs are going to get slightly brighter until the person gets a lot closer, and it's like, oh, okay, let me just turn all the way on. That is the idea of how it works. Especially since, like, say there's someone down the hall, or something, it kind of like turns on just a little bit. Maybe it's not sure if someone's going to be coming in the hall or not, and then once they start walking in the hall, it's like there's a person there. Let's go full brightness. It's kind of like that's the concept behind it of what I was going to do. But yeah, so sorry about that. The reason why there's a blue tape is because I kind of went through different things. I was like, oh, well, I know they come with screws for the servo motor, and I was like, maybe I just screw the other blades to it, and kind of like doubling it up. But as you can see, there are holes in the blades, which is ideally why I wanted to add more. And I was like, no, I don't know, it doesn't work, and they're thin. They're not really big. So then I was like, okay, what if I use a piece of paper? So I was actually going to cut a piece of paper and then screw it into the to the hole of, or one of the holes or whatever, so cover it. But as a lot of people know, as you can see under the board, there you go. See, it's getting light because paper, especially white paper, a lot of light is gonna go through it. So I was like, okay, I actually need something better than that. Then I was like, wait, what about tape? And I was like, well, okay, I could tape the paper instead of screwing it, but then I was like, no. What if I do black tape? I couldn't find black tape, as you can see, but I found blue tape, which is still good. It's dark enough. It'll absorb more light. More light won't go through it. So that is the concept. What's happening here? Let's see what more. Let's see what else can I show. But yeah, so this is my concept for my proximity nightlight. So yeah, I will be here. It is currently at 10. Closer. Up. Okay, too close. Now, as some of you may have realized, when I get really close, it goes away. And that is because a ultrasonic distance sensor has anything under 5 centimeters, it will not do correctly. Well, not only that, but it's like kind of like a blind area. Not only that, but as you guys know, in the what I have in the code right here is anything over 5, it'll actually turn. So yeah, so that's why I have it at 5. But here, actually, let's try and test it from here. Actually, let me kind of, there you go. And let's get closer. There you go. No, get closer again. There you go. I think it's getting both hands. But yeah, so let's back up a bit. Sir. It's affecting the lights. Probably not the best angle to do it from. Cover the light. It's hard to see on camera, but that is the concept for my proximity nightlight. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you all have a great one.